going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Swish Podcast. Man, I'm your host, Keywan Humphreys, and y'all see the title. Detroit Basketball. We're talking about them Detroit Pistons today, man. Now, Detroit. Y'all was bad last year. Y'all was really, really bad last year. They finished with a 14-68 record. And you know what? If you kept up with basketball, or really anywhere, because it was on social media too. If you kept up with basketball, you remember the Detroit Pistons' long, extended losing streak. They lost 28 straight games. It got to a point where Wingstop in Detroit said, we're going to give away 5 free wings if the Pistons can win a game. 5. Now, you know Wingstop. Wingstop, they stingy with their wings. They don't just give away wings. So for you to be losing that much, for them to say, fine, we'll give away 5 free wings. They said, bet, we're never going to have to give these wings away because the Pistons are not good. And that was the case last year. Now, going into last season, me personally, I'm not even going to act like, when I say this, I'm not trying to act like I was this, you know what I'm saying, I was this wizard or this guy or something. But I was thinking the Pistons were going to be pretty good. I didn't think they would make the playoffs, but I thought they would fight for a playing spot. Why? Because they hired Monty Williams. Monty Williams, a guy that took the Phoenix Suns from being bottom of the league to being in the finals and being one of the top teams in the Western Conference over the course of his tenure there. The young guys were going to develop. Cade Cunningham. They drafted Asur Thompson. He's a guy. He's a plug and play. You can put him in and he'll be ready to go. Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey. They had a bunch of young guys, and I thought they were going to get better. Boy, was I wrong. I was wrong, man, and they started losing. And you know what's crazy? I was telling folks this, like, that I talked to. I was saying, okay, the Pistons, don't sleep on the Pistons, because I like Cade Game. I liked them in high school and in college. So I like Cade Game. And the opening night, they beat the Miami Heat. I was like, here they go. Here they go. And I think Cade had 30 that game. They just beat the Miami Heat opening night. This ain't the same Pistons team. They weren't. They were worse. But the past is the past. Let's move to the future. And that is exactly what the Detroit Pistons did in the offseason. They started out with a franchise like this and a season like that, you got to do a full cleanse. And it starts at the top. So they fired their GM, Troy Weaver. And they fired Monty Williams. Now, Monty Williams, I don't have the exact details of his contract written down right here, but he was just given, that was his only year coaching that team, but he was paid a lot of money to go coach that team, and they fired him. So they're going to be paying Monty Williams for the next couple of seasons a lot of money, and he's not even there anymore. Monty probably happier now that he got fired. He getting paid, and he don't got to do nothing with that team. But they fired him too, and they get the 5th pick in the lottery. And that sucks because I just said they were 14-68, the worst team in the NBA. And you get the 5th pick. And that's been the issue with the Pistons for really ever since they started losing for real. Their lottery luck has been terrible. They've been one of the worst teams in the NBA for the past 4 or 5 years. And they just cannot get that top pick. They cannot get the top 3 picks. If I'm correct, they haven't gotten the top 3 pick. But with that 5th pick, they go and draft Ron Holland. Ron Holland out of the G League Ignite program or G League Ignite team or whatever. Ron Holland was originally the 2nd-ranked player coming into last season. So coming out of high school, he was the 2nd-ranked player in the nation. So, you know, he definitely has an upside. But, you know, of course, players in college get the hype and all that, and they end up, you know, surpassing those guys in G League Ignite. Now, Ron Holland, I didn't watch too much of him in Summer League, but I read up on him and I did research on him for this video. And it seems like he's a guy that he has size. He has size and athleticism, and that allows him to be a dog on defense. And going downhill in the fast break in the open court, he is an absolute problem. Now, the three ball is not that good. He didn't shoot that well last year with the G League Ignite. He's definitely going to have to improve on that this season because if you watched the Pistons at all last year, which most of y'all haven't, unless you're Pistons fans, you know you already have a guy that's lengthy and athletic and can play in the open court but can't shoot, in Asar Thompson. So you don't need 2 of those guys together. So one of them has to develop a 3-point shot. Ron Holland, I know he's a rookie, but that would definitely elevate his game and elevate this team if he can knock down an open jumper. So they weren't done though. I think the Pistons had a pretty good offseason. Really under the radar, but they had a really good offseason. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at what they did. They signed Tobias Harris to a 2-year, $52 million contract. Tobias Harris, coming from the Philadelphia 76ers, did not have the best playoff run or playoff series with that team. But from what I remember last season, when Joel Embiid was out and his shot volume went up, he played better as well. So I think with this team, he's gonna play maybe a bit better than he did with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now I'm not saying he's gonna be an all-star, but I'm saying he can be a guy that contributes to this team getting better, contributes to the development of this young team. Next, they went and got another 76er. They went and claimed Paul Reed off of the waivers. Paul Reed was a backup center for the 76ers. When he started, he played decent minutes too. He wasn't no Joel Embiid by no means, but he was a really good rotational piece, and I like how they got that. They go and sign Malik Beasley, another good veteran player that you can put on a team. He can make an impact with his defense and his shooting. He's going to be a good addition. They traded Quentin Grimes for Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, Tim Hardaway Jr. was a guy that was before the Dallas Mavericks made their trades at the trade deadline. He was the third highest scorer on that Dallas Mavericks team. He was in the running for 6th man of the year for a long time until he eventually kind of fell out of rotation because of the depth that the Dallas Mavericks got. And in the finals, I believe he came in that game 4 and hit like 5 threes in the fourth quarter. So this is definitely a guy that can, once again, come in, hit some shots off the bench. He's not going to play too much defense, but adding some more shot making to a team that I feel was not the best at hitting the 3 ball is going to be good for this team. Now, of course, they took care of Cade Cunningham. They gave him the rookie scale extension. Lock him in. That is your franchise player. I still believe in Cade Cunningham. I think he's going to be good this year, just because he has the tools. Last year I think he was really good. It's just his team kept losing. It was Cade Cunningham giving it his all, but they were not getting the results that they wanted. So they extended Cade Cunningham, locked him in for a couple more years. They hired J.B. Bickerstaff as their head coach. J.B. Bickerstaff, he's mostly known for his time with the Cleveland Cavaliers as their head coach, but I like him. You know, I think this is a good fit. You know, you'd rather get somebody who's been in coaching in the NBA for a minute rather than get somebody that's new. So I'm not mad at this signing. They still have no GM, so I'm interested to see what they do about that. And what's funny is when they drafted Ron Holland, they did not have J.D. Bickerstaff as their head coach. So that was just the front office taking him. You know, so it's up to J.D. Bickerstaff to find a way to implement him into his plans or whatever. So, with all that being said, let's look at this Detroit Pistons roster after all the moves in the offseason. They got Isaiah Stewart, Simon Fontecchio. He's the guy from he was traded over there from Utah last season. Bobby Klintman, a rookie. Malik Beasley, Paul Reed, Tobias Harris, Ron Holland, Chemezi Metu, Cade Cunningham, Marcus Sasser, Asur Thompson, Wendell Moore Jr., Evan Fournier, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Jalen Duren. So, looking at that roster, I see a couple people that I like because a lot of them guys got good minutes last year and you saw the development. You look at Marcus Sasser. Well, I don't think I said Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey is also on the team. I think it's going to be his 3rd season. He's also on the team, but I did not say him when I was reading out the roster. But Marcus Sasser looked pretty good last year because he got extended minutes, especially with Cade Cunningham getting injured and missing a lot of time, especially during that losing streak. Jaden Ivey, I think, is going to be a lot better this year. Once again, he got a lot of development with Cade Cunningham being out. You go and add a Tobias Harris, a guy, I don't know how good he is as a leader in the locker room, but hey, he's got experience. So you got to find a way to put that experience in your young guys. You got Jalen Duren. Now, I'm a fan of Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren is an absolute dog on the rebound, on the glass. He's a lob threat. It doesn't matter who you put him up against. He's gonna battle him on the glass. You can put him up against Jokic, and he's going to mess around and have a double-double. He's been a walking double-double ever since he came into the NBA, and I think he's going to be even better. If he can somehow, some way, I don't know if he's going to do it, if he can somehow, some way get like a mid-range or a corner 3 or something to spread the floor out, he'd be perfect. But Jalen Duren's a guy that, as a fan of basketball, I would love him on any team I was supporting. I would love him on that team. But yeah, so I look at that roster and I say, okay, what could they look like next year? And last year, I jumped the gun and said they were going to be in the fight for the play-in. And y'all, I'm going to say it again. I think they're going to be in the run for the play-in. Not saying they're going to get in the play-in, but I think they can definitely be one of those teams at the end of the season that are battling, trying to get to that 10 seed. Because this roster's not bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad. They have, they don't have a bona fide superstar, yes. But in a weak Eastern Conference, you may not need that to get to the playoff, to get to the play-in. And I believe that if they can stay healthy, if they can develop, they'll be able to get the job done. I fully expect for Cade Cunningham to take off this year. Like I said, last year was a really good year for him. The year before that, he missed almost the whole season with injury. If he can have a really good year this year, stay healthy, and really just continue to build chemistry with his teammates and just kind of find a way to make the game easy for himself. It looks pretty easy if you watch his highlights, but make it even easier for himself, elevate his teammates. This team can definitely fight for a play-in spot. Because now you have another scorer beside him in Tobias Harris. A guy that can go out there and get you 18 and 19, maybe even 20 points per game with this roster, with him being the second option. I'm also looking for Ausar Thompson to be even better this year. Last year, he was one of the best defenders and one of the best rebounders out of that rookie class from last season. And I fully expect him to be back healthy this year and just keep improving, keep going. Like I said, he has to improve on the three-point shot, but that takes time. And I think with this team, there are shots to go around, to say the least. I talked about the depth and the experience they added with Malik Beasley and Paul Reed and Tim Hardaway Jr. Them guys are going to come in and contribute. I think this team's going to be pretty decent. And the thing about this team as well, their contract situation, they're kind of good. Everybody signed to at least 2 years. So you don't got to worry about people. You don't got to worry about paying nobody no time soon. And even if you were about paying somebody, nobody really deserves any money except for Cade. Maybe Duren. Maybe you give Duren because you don't want to let Duren go, especially with him being very, very young. But the money is not going to be an issue for this team. So you just got to go out there and play. Go out there and play. Go out there and execute, man. Put on for Detroit basketball. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Swishathon episode 3. This was it. Episode 4 coming real soon. The way I'm going to do it, I'm going to do Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Because I feel like that's the easiest way to do it. Because there are a lot of really good Western teams that I want to talk about. But if I talk about all them, then I'm probably going to run out of gas when I get to these, lower tier Eastern Conference teams. But until next time, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share with y'all folks. Until next time, we out of here. Yeah!